This is WFO Radio.
It's a 2 for Tuesday on WFO Radio. Oh, man, I've been waiting years to say that since listening to the FM stuff way back in the day. 2 for Tuesday on WFO. That's right. Joe Costello back with you, getting ready for the Dodge SRT Mile High Nationals out there at Bandimere Speedway, Denver, Colorado. We're coming your way, Colorado. Hopefully you're going to be out there in force. We're going to have ourselves a good time. It's going to be great. We have got Bobby Lagana Jr. going to be on this show for the Summit Racing Equipment NHRA Nationals Top Fuel Winner View. The race won by Steve Torrence. Bobby, pinch hitting for Steve because Steve is on the show every week. He has won so many races. He is literally on the show every week, and he's got to work. And so Bobby is pinch hitting, and I'm very excited to get the whole crew chief perspective because, or Bobby doesn't say he's the crew chief. Obviously, Hoagie is the crew chief. Bobby says he's the do-everything guy. We'll ask him about his title just moments from now. But super excited to get that perspective as we try to mix things up here on WFO Radio. So if you're a fan of Top Fuel, NHRA, you're ready for the weekend, share this show. Let's get it out there. I think Bobby, one of the big personalities in the show. Now, I do want to shout out the people who make it possible for me to do WFO Radio. Been talking a whole lot about Total Seal piston rings. There's Matt Hartford right there, the leader in ring seal technology, TotalSeal.com. 40% of your engine's friction comes from the piston rings, and Total Seal is working real hard to reduce that number. Depending on the category you run, the rules of the category, they have technology to help you compete as best as you can. TotalSeal.com, check them out. And we do the Hidden Horsepower podcast, brand new podcast episode up right now. Also, Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School, the Dragster Adventure. Just got the email about Anson Brown, Antron's son, has now gone through the course at Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School. And I think it is great that so many next generation racers, maybe we could have a best of 7 match race, Autumn Height, Anson Brown, right? Let's do it. Bottom line, people go through Hawley's because they want to trust their education. And it's clearly true that Frank is educating the next generation of Top Fuel racers, NHRA stores. But what about you? What about you? How about the Dragster Adventure, where you drive a dragster for just $399. You make 1 half track, 2 full track passes. You get the experience. You feel what it's like to drive a rear engine dragster. There's nothing like it on the earth. And I'm fortunate to have had that experience. Not that fast. $798, my low ET personal. Super proud of that. Samtech.edu, the School of Automotive Machinists and Technology. Start your education at full speed. Blockhead, CNC programs, motorsport EFI tuning. They're approved to train veterans under the GI Bill. Like, where is the next generation going to come from? And I can tell you a lot of them are coming up through Sam Tech down there in Houston, Texas. Check them out. Tell them you heard about it on WFO Radio. And Marvin Rodak, whose phone is ringing off the hook, 817-924-6821. This guy is roasting coffee fresh per your order. It's coming from around the world. The best coffee, exotic stuff. This is not the vacuum-packed garbage you're buying in the grocery store, baby. This is Rodax. Give him a call. He's a drag racer. He turns wrenches on Alki funny cars. He's out there at Funny Car Chaos. Marvin Rodak, big sponsor of WFO for a long time now. I don't know how long it's been, but at least, 8 years, Marvin. How long has it been, Marvin? Appreciate you. Plus our friends at Nitro Fish and, of course, the WFO store on WFOradio.com. All right, let's bring him on. Mr. Bobby Lagana, representing the Capco boys. What's up, Bobby? How are you?
Good. How you doing, Joe?
I'm great. What is your title? Like, we always speak with you. You're like the voice and the face of the team. Hoagie's not big into the starting line interviews, and Steve is the driver. I think you're like the heart of the team, but I want to hear your description.
I just call myself everybody's helper because whatever I got to do to keep the train rolling and, I spent a lot of time with Hoagie up in the lounge and trying to make sure that we're going to hopefully do the right, try to make the right calls. But, Hoagie's awesome crew chief to work with, and Steve's an awesome driver to work with. And every one of our guys, we all just get along so well. We don't necessarily do titles on the team either. We kind of all just, there's a couple guys in his team. They could be a crew chief on another car. And, we all just love racing with each other so much. And, I drive down the road. Me and Gary drive Steve's rig. So we have a pretty good time. And I love driving. These rigs are beautiful. They're brand new. They're such nice equipment. It's nothing like driving the truck that holds the World Championships car. upstairs. And usually it's me, Dom, and Gary, but we're not taking Billy's car in the swing, so Dom's going to stay home. So just me and Gary this time.
So some people were asking about that. Billy told us a couple of weeks ago on the show that they were going to miss some races on the swing, but he wasn't specific about which ones they were. And so it's the whole swing, no Billy?
Yeah, half of his car is part-time guys fly in, and we're not necessarily built to run that car full-time. And sometimes you just got to know when to say when and be prepared for the end of the year. So it's easy you want to keep going, especially as well as the cars are running, and it's fun, but it's also has to be, you got to make a smart decision sometimes.
No, I understand. And we need the cars and we want to put on a show, but there is a balance, and I'm all about getting that balance right, whatever it is and however we do it. I don't know if it's right now, cost versus investment versus, how much you win and all of that. We can talk about that in a little bit. But what I really want to do is talk a little bit about Norwalk. This is a winter view after all.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Steve has gotten a fair amount of publicity on WFO radio. And so now we're calling to the bullpen for Bobby Lagana. That was a big race. But let's go back a little bit before that. Let's go back to New England, right? Because that one, to me, you tell me, but for me to watch you win there at a track that you have shared with us was one of your personal favorite tracks, where moments like this, to side-by-side runs out there where you guys were able to share a victory with Dominic and Steve, going out there and getting that win with Billy. Like, what was that like?
We're very fortunate here, and probably some things go our way a little more than they probably should. And everybody works hard for that, I know, but we're still very fortunate. And to go up there, we kind of all had that that feeling, man, it would be so awesome for Billy to have a good weekend at Epping and maybe have all the stars line up for him. And sure enough, qualifying number one and having a pedal fest first round, and it just seemed like things were going his way. And we ran Salinas in the semifinals and kind of just made a mistake, with the starting line on the car. And, those guys did a great job all weekend. And, but it was also, in a sense, it was cool to see Mike against Billy in the final. And, it was just a really good race, and it was won by the starting line, you could say, by the end results, but the numbers were, the cars basically ran identical in reaction times. It was just a close race. And for Dom to get the first win that, on the car that he works on, even though he's gotten wins on, Steve has won, but Dom puts input in that car, and he puts a lot of effort in, and he was rewarded with a win, and that was just really special. And Billy is really the heart of the team. Mama Kay is the heart of the team, but Billy he loves racing. He loves racing as much as we do. So it's crazy to watch how involved he is in the car and running a super comp car. And for him to have a successful day, it was hard not to be just completely lose your emotions that day and just be happy for everyone involved.
And so we joke about the Italian-American thing from time to time. Emotional people, right? Passionate people, talk with our hands. But boy, the emotional roller coaster that you have lived the last 2 years. Like,
yeah, the hardest thing about this whole couple of years is, I like to use the word fortunate. It's like my favorite word, but we're so fortunate. Dom had an accident, and it was something that was going to happen, I guess. And his recovery, where he's at now, is the result of the support from the whole drag racing community and our family and friends. And what sometimes makes me sad, and I have a tough time dealing with, is to think about the people that go through maybe some accidents like that, or lifestyle disabilities, and they don't have that support group, So we've always tried to help as many people as we can in our lives. And, now you almost feel like you want to try to do even more, and seeing the amount of people that supported and helped Dom. And, that's kind of our message in life, I think, even though we always kind of felt that way, but now I think it's a little bit more prevalent than before. And I'm so happy and fortunate the people that are around us in our lives that have such a positive influence. And, we just want to do that same for a lot of people we don't know, people we know, just everybody.
And you did that in advance. It was almost like you paid it forward in advance, or maybe, I don't know how to do it. I just remember those videos that coming in from all over the world, like literally and genuinely all over the world, for you and your brother, and to see Dom on the starting line celebrating a win, it's just hard to add up. It's just hard.
That was good for everybody. We worked on Mike's car in 2012, Mike's latest car. And so we hung out with him in San Jose, him and his family. And, he was always asking about Dom's progress through his recovery. And, all the guys on his team are really good friends of ours. And, so even the guys that we raced with, it was good for even them to see Dom be a part of that win. I think it was a victory for a lot of different reasons, and I don't, the word handicap is, that's a tough word to use, but no matter which way you look at it, Dom's life is going to be tough, in certain ways, but to see how resilient he's been and how happy he is to be alive. And, and Sarah's a big part of that. But I think that's his message will help a lot of people for the rest of his life, no matter how hard his life is and will be. It's going to be a good message for a lot of people forever.
Yes, absolutely. And I guess he fired up a funny car the other day as you guys were getting ready to sell. Like, what was that? That's the family funny car that you guys sold down under. What's this we got? We saw the video.
That's the Nitro Ninja funny car that we bought a long time ago. Aaron Brooks, Stewie, and ourselves, and ran it a couple of times and had fun with it. But it kind of sat in the corner, and as in most things that happen here at Torrence Racing, where a lot of things are unorthodox, and some of the things that we do are we take on projects to help other teams to help them, but we also do it to sell our old parts and kind of keep just kind of keep everything flowing, money in, money out. And so that car was Graham Cowan bought it, Rocket Industries in Australia, and he bought a bunch of our parts at Torrance, and he, paid us to put the car together and make it really nice and have it ready for him to match race down under. So that project was good for everybody involved, and then for us to warm it up, Dom wanted to warm it up, and he actually got forward and reverse with his legs, and it was just a really, really warming moment during the week. So it just everything went so smooth on the warm up, and then just to watch him so excited about getting forward and reverse was just really, it was pretty special. The video that John did but there was some parts missing that you see Dom's expression. I have a video where you just watch when Dom gets that forward and reverse, he like jumps out of the cockpit and he's just grinning from ear to ear, and it was pretty wild.
Okay, so I want, I'm not trying to break it down here emotionally. Yeah. But we were just talking about it, right? I'm sorry. But to me, it's so amazing. We at the track, we don't get a chance to talk like this. And so it's different. But, Dom is just super determined, and he's already done things that I never would have figured he would do or try to do. Like even that, right?
100%.
Okay, is it crazy to think that he might try to take a car down the racetrack? I'm not talking about a nitro car, but we were asked that question in the hospital by another amputee, and I said, nah, there's no way, get in a car like that. But at that point, you're just hoping for Dom's survival, so it's hard to envision where we are right now. I would have never thought that we could be where we're at. So there's nothing is impossible, and especially with his work ethic and his mentality, nothing is impossible. So we're just keep rolling along and working hard. And, he does drive a car every day now to work by himself. So, Toyota was a big part of that. And wow. He drives to work on his own and he drove us to lunch today. So, yep. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing. And the technology, let's face it, the technology for amputees and prosthetics advanced very, very rapidly. And we know because of all the veterans that were over there in Iraq and Afghanistan, like that's when it really just started advancing rapid fire. And now to see him out there, it's amazing. But all right, let's talk about that race win in Norwalk, a friendly place. And it seems like everywhere we go now, like you guys are the most recent race winner, the defending race winner, the future race winner, like Bandamere. the run that you guys have been on, I always wonder, like, all right, is someone going to be able to step up? But at Norwalk, that was a very important race. You're the number one qualifier. You stormed through the field. To me, it was great because it was I want the Brittany-Steve rivalry thing to be front page. Steve got to go through a whole bunch of rivals, but let's start off with that first round matchup against former champ Sean Langdon. Nice, easy one right out of the box, right? You got to go up against Coletta Motorsports in Langdon.
Yeah, I mean, we made a really good qualifying run on Friday, and that ended up setting the tone to stay number one. And you just, as the weekend went, you almost had that feeling like it's going to be a tough match at number 16. It's just the way the cards are working right now. And, first round makes you're actually the most nervous for that round for some reason. I guess that's first run of the day, and you just don't want to have a short day. But to run, Sean's such a great driver, and Coletta is, it's hard to, Coletta's what a great group, and they could step up at any time and run as good as anybody in the property. So it was one of those, and we probably were trying to run a little bit too hard to make sure we were in a good position to be competitive, and we smoked the tires at half track, and Steve did a spectacular job, ran a 391, smoking the tires and pedaling it. And, we were just fortunate that they smoked the tires earlier than us. And, that was our round to, I guess, learn something for the next two rounds on how to not to make that same mistake.
Yeah. I wonder that, Steve is the champ. He's won the champ past 3 years in a row and all that. But I wonder, is he underappreciated as a driver? What would you say that? Because round wins like that, I can think just off the top of my head of several where the guy has been able to get it down through there first. Crazy condition.
Steve has 44 wins, and it's real easy to say you could have a couple more on some of the races where he lost, maybe on a whole shot or so. But you can't forget that I'm going to say, without 100% knowing, there's probably 20 races that we've won, almost half, where Steve won on a whole shot, had a pedal job, or just drove like a world champion that he is. We were looking back at a run against Doug Coletta in Norwalk. It was like 3 years ago, and it was an insane final, 371, and Steve won on a whole shot. And, Steve is when he's enjoying racing, and, he's just a very competitive person. And, it would be awesome if we would film our last 5 years here, because there's so many trials and tribulations. But, Steve definitely wears it on his sleeve, but he's always gracious after the fact, but he's just a competitive guy. He wants to win, and he doesn't want to, which you can't fault the guy. He's got a good race car, and when he's on his game, he's as good as any driver out there. And whatever it takes to get up for that, if it's being fired up, it is what it is. To me, it's good for the sport also. It's a personality, and, I don't know where. Not everybody's supposed to act the same, and not everybody has the same characteristics built inside their DNA. And, that's why we love racing with Steve. I would race with Steve forever. I wouldn't choose another driver over him. I mean, like I said, I swear it's close to half the races that we've won. You would pinpoint a round or two in a race day where, I always go back to Indy when we won in 2017. You look up those results. Steve was 030 to 051 every run, qualifying one to the Traxxas shootout win to the final. And there was some really close races that day against some really tough competitors. And, those are the ones that get lost too, when both cars run a 372 and 372 and they both have good lights. It's hard. That's kind of a whole shot win, because if you're late, if you're 060 something on a run and lose on a whole shot, you can't fault the driver. But when both guys are in that 40 and 50 range, even though you had a little bit better ET and the same reaction time, it's still sort of a whole shot win, because it's just too easy to lose, if the driver's off. So,
well, and that's the brutal nature of our sport, is that you can be at your best and be a loser. Yeah. And it's like, oh man, and then at the same time, the next guy down is terrible and he's a winner. And it's like, why? And there's just no way. Hey, we got people out there on social media saying, what's up? Jeff says, what's up to Bobby and Joe? Bruce is down under, says good morning and best wishes down there. Blake in Ohio says that you and your bro were super cool to him and his dad in Atlanta Dragway in May at the final race.
Oh, that's awesome.
Maddie is out there. You know Maddie, of course.
Oh, yeah. Well, I can't give her secret away, but she has a secret horsepower trick for us. So I don't really want to give it away on the internet, but there's a whole stack of them in my cabinet in the trailer. So
okay.
Yep.
Getting the Lagana Strong deal. Jeff is the guy who sent you guys the Christmas tree metal sign.
Okay. I didn't know. It's hanging in the shop here. It's beautiful. I'd very much appreciate it, Jeff. Thank you.
He's going to be out there.
He'll be in Denver because it came from the Denver area, Morrison. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Make sure you come by and hang out with us. That's for sure.
During the middle of the whole, like, nobody knew what to do and everything, Jeff, he's a metal artist and he does all kinds of stuff. And he's like, that's what he wanted to do. And he wanted to like have us auction it and everything. I was like, I felt like not the right thing. And then Dom was okay. So I was like, let's just send it to him.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Guys, and the guy's a talent.
That's awesome.
Jim doesn't care about any of that. He says that you shaved.
Yeah. Well, we had our Sydney is a friend of ours in town and she comes to our shop once a month and cuts everybody's hair. So she came in this morning. That's another one of those kind of like behind the scenes secrets about our we're very superstitious here. So we have a tough time not following certain patterns. So
it clearly is working. It clearly working.
Yeah.
All right. So let's go to the next round. There's a lot of questions stacking up. That's good. I appreciate it. Okay. So I want rivalries, man. I want to be able to tell the story. And so Leah and Steve, to me, that's a great one. Like there's always a little extra going all the way back. Yes, she's not at the top of her game at this moment, but that could change this weekend, next weekend. They're going to get there. But just seeing those two on the track at the same time, to me, elevates the experience.
And we were backing up from the burnout and they were shutting their car off. And I said, oh, shucks, they broke, and you don't ever wish that on a team. You want to race your race. So now I'm sitting there like, oh man, all right, don't make a mistake. Don't do something different now because they're broke. And then all of a sudden they're telling us to shut off. I didn't realize it was raining. So it was a really weird moment. And we got the car shut off and rolled back and tried to make a plan for what we were going to do. And, things got heated, not between us and Leah's team for sure. Todd O'Gara, we love racing with Todd and the whole team over there. Much respect for everybody over there. And, we were just trying to make a plan that we were both comfortable with. And, NHRA told us one thing and we were trying to do another, which we're the race teams. We're supposed to try to push the buttons and, have the scenario go the way we would like. So, nothing against any trade or nothing, but it was just, to me, it was a good moment in the end. It was just made for some action that doesn't normally happen. And so we went back to the pits and just refueled and changed the oil only, and then came back and, ran at the back of the pack, and the track cooled down tremendously. The track got way better than what probably we both anticipated. And, we won on a hole shot. Steve had a really good light and car was off from what we were trying to run a little bit. And, we were just fortunate that Steve stepped up, and that was an enjoyable second round.
So that I always wish that I could record what I'm seeing for people and then play it back, because my job and positioning is just so amazing if you like drag racing, right? I'm sure there'd be people that this is no big deal, but for me, it's amazing. And so that moment, there's been all this discussion about street outlaws and no prep kings, and is it popular and why is it popular? And I recently went to one of their events, and they carve out all these moments for human interaction, right? The drivers, the crews talking back and forth. Well, what about you? What about you? What is it? And they record it all, and that's the show. And our sport, because it's a sport, that's not really the way it goes, right? You guys are doing your thing and Leah and her team are doing their thing, and you pull to the starting line. There's really never crew chief to crew chief or driver to driver interaction on camera. It just doesn't exist. But that moment was exactly that. You guys formed this big circle. Steve was animated because of the adrenaline. Like Leah was there in the corner, like one of the casual observer faces that is just in the crowd happens to be Tony Stewart watching this thing. Like, it was awesome.
It was. I thought it was, and I didn't feel like anything was really out of line. I thought it was just like you said. I thought it was awesome. I had a smile inside while I was speaking, and while I was riding my scooter back to the pits, I'm like, man, that was cool, and we were us and Todd were on the same page. We wanted to just have a fair shot at number one, making sure the cars were safe, shutting them down with all the fuel in the cylinders is always, and knowing that you're going to start right back up is always a scary proposition. And also to make a full run, you want to make sure that the oil's right. There's just too many things that are safety orientated first. And then right after the safety, you want to do what's best to be able to have the most, the car that you're most comfortable with, the same car that you left your pit with in the beginning. And, obviously doing a burnout, shutting it off, that's going to change some of the things that you were anticipating, temperatures in the clutch and just certain things. And so you have to be prepared for that. And we just didn't go up there with enough bite. The racetrack had more bite than what we were anticipating from the rain and cooling down. So, but it was, in the end, it was an exciting moment. Yeah,
it really was. And you're like, are they going to disqualify both of us? And then Brad Hart's like, yes, we will. We will disqualify both.
Yeah.
It's just awesome. It was a human moment. And as we try to create, what has to happen with our sport, I don't know how to get more moments like that, but that was great. Yeah. You guys working it out. Todd's like, yeah, no, we'll do it. All right, let's do it. Let's go. I just wish that everybody could see it. They did a good job on TV catching it, but when you see and live the whole thing, it was great. It's just stuff. So you go to the semifinals where you got to run up against this kid, Austin Prock. We spent a lot of time talking about this kid earlier in our early show. This is our second show today since we had Alex Laughlin and Alan Reinhart on, and a lot of talk about these next generation racers who are the future of the sport. Talked a lot about Krista. I'll ask about her a little bit later. Alex is super stoked to run Top Fuel. But Austin Prock is always mentioned. It was unfortunate that Clay couldn't race, but it was a Cinderella story, like a genuine Cinderella story. But I don't think you guys wanted to be the victim of his Cinderella story, so you had to go get him.
Yeah, there's moments when you're racing against your competition and you have that soft moment where you say, if it doesn't go our way, then it's okay, because it was meant to be. And, I don't want to, that wasn't, kind of, I don't want to say I was rooting for it. I want to win, but, that was a really cool moment. And Austin did a great job in that car. And, he's proved himself way before that he's a great driver. And, and Clay's a good friend of everybody on our team. And, we appreciate their struggles over there, that they don't necessarily have a really big budget and they work really well with the parts that they have. And, we have a big history with Clay and Mike Klober. They helped us years ago. And you just, you just want them to make a good run and make it a good race. And you knew Austin was going to be up for it. And Steve was really good on the tree as he was all day, but Austin was 30 something. And, and we knew we had to run really well. And we were happy that we ran 373. We felt like that's about what we were trying to run, and we felt like they were going to run another 376 or so. They had been consistent all weekend, and it was just going to be a close race. I think they end up burning a piston, and the pan pressure shut the car off. But it is what it is. They still had a great weekend, and I'm happy for them. But we were definitely stoked to get to the next round, and then Brittany went and ran 369 right behind us. So number one, you knew you weren't going to have lane choice. Not that was a really big deal there, but if you had the choice, you were going to choose the right lane. But so we were prepared for that, and then we were also prepared for it looks like it might rain, so the track's going to get even better, and you have to try to run as hard as you can run. And it was a pretty wild in between semifinal to the final, because it was such a quick, hey, hurry up. We want you in the lanes as soon as possible. If you guys are on the ground, we'll run you as soon as you're done. Doesn't matter when, is what we were told. And, then you find yourself rushing a little bit, which is not a good thing. And then you end up sitting in the staging lanes for an hour while it rains on you. And you have to start second guessing certain things, and now start to prepare for what's probably going to be the best track of the entire weekend. And, you went up there knowing that, but like I said, while it rained and they're going to re-prep the racetrack again, it's now going to be as good as it could have been. So the crazy thing is both cars, I'm sure, I don't know 100% what they were trying to run, but I know we were trying to run a 67 or 8, and I'm sure they were also, and both cars ran 73. So it was just a weird, sometimes that's just how it goes. The track ate it up, put a hole out, but Steve was just killer on the tree. And
no, he won the race on the starting line. The last two champions, the last two Top Fuel champions squaring up. And I think that if we could, there's no way to control it, right? Like which teams are great at the same time, but they're coming around now. And Brittany is working very hard to get in position like she was that final round there. And I think that's what people want to see. I think there's a lot of great drivers out there, the Leahs of the world. When Billy runs you guys, it's great. Clay, of course. But if Brittany Force could have some consistent performances and you guys race in final rounds a few times over the rest of the season, that would be really good for the sport. Steve comes out on top this time, wins the race, ignites a massive celebration. But I just could feel the energy. It was almost too bad that the crowd left after the rain. Could feel the energy knowing that these are the last, two Top Fuel champions, Brittany 2017 and then Steve ever since.
And number 1 and 2 qualifier.
Exactly. Like all race long, it was back and forth.
Right.
I just hope that continues on because that's what helps grow the sport.
Yep. I agree. Now the competition and certain rivalries and, I'm with you. I think a lot of times what gets missed is, certain runs for the weekend that weren't necessarily the number 1 qualifying run or, the runs that you won the race on, like that Q4 run where those Brittany and them went out and made a spectacular run. And we were just fortunate enough to run just a little bit better, and we've also had it on the other side where look at the semifinals where we kind of walked away saying that was a great run. And then you're on the radio and Brittany runs 369 and there was a little bit of deflation. Oh man, that's stout. That's a spectacular run. So you just never know, which run and what the meaning behind, the ETs or certain things that happen. So that is hard to, portray in the sport or just to show, like we're in the pits working while we're listening to Brittany run that 69. And it was, that was an impressive run.
Well, right. And that's it's impossible to cover. They do a great job. They're doing better and better. But everybody has got their own little reality going on and they're tracking everybody else's reality. And it's like, oh, they fired a shot. Wow. Unbelievable. Hey, we got some great people out there like Spider-Man McBride.
Greatest show in drag racing.
I was watching Cycle Drag the other day. I saw his run from the other day.
Yep. Hoagie's really good friends with Larry. So we've known Larry forever, followed him and watched as many runs as we could and only a handful in person. We never really got to hang out with him a whole bunch, but we did this year in Gainesville. And what a great guy, him and his brother. They're diehard racers and, we're very close with a bunch of Top Fuel Harleys. So we're pretty fluent with the 2-wheel nitro crazy drivers, crazy crew chiefs, crazy crew guys. They're just next level. But Larry and his brother, what a piece of equipment they've built, and that I truly say that's the greatest show. I would pay to watch that all the time. I would pay whatever to watch that bike run those 580s, 590s, 570s, 560s. Just the way it sounds, just how they do their burnout, their whole procedure is just so entertaining.
Well, it is to watch a bike make a solo run, right? But there's this drama. Yeah. There's always this drama of like, what are they going to do? What's possible? And amazing. And what the best is that Larry's out there watching WFO. Like, what? What's going on with that? All right, Doug.
Larry sends messages every once in a while in between while we're racing. He'll, even in between the runs, he must be watching the race, NHRA race live or something. And
yeah,
he always sends some good messages.
No, it's great. It's great. Okay, Doug wants to know how loud is the train horn?
Loud enough that we've been scolded by Honda Development next door. Yes, I have their letters and emails to prove it. We've definitely been in trouble before. So, but I save those for later on in our lives when I have funny, when somebody writes you a funny email that's kind of like, man, I can't believe you write that on paper. You got to save it,
I agree.
We frame those too. We actually frame stuff like that, put it in the shop just for people to read.
Motivation, entertainment, of course.
Yep.
Scuba Steve is out there.
Scuba helped make our winner's circle better than it was. He brought cardboard Eddie Hill and cardboard Big Daddy to Norwalk. So they've made their rounds. They're hanging out. They're hanging in the shop now. They won't be going on the swing with us, but Scuba is a hell of a. He's what makes drag racing. He's what he's lifelong nitro sportsman, just a drag racing fan. And those, there's so many of those all over the whole country. And, you wouldn't believe how many people go to 80%, 70% of races. They fly across the country to just follow our sport, like it's a cult, and it drives their, it's part of their lives,
Absolutely. Jeff Foster checking in. So the real celebrities are out there. This is a big episode. People.
Yep. Hey, we spent a lot of years with Jeff on the road. We went running the NHRA stuff. So we learned a lot from Jeff. Jeff and Bob Bruckmeyer, I mean, they're behind the scenes. All the years that Jeff was at CompuLink, and people don't realize, like, it's real easy to just say, oh yeah, he's the winner, he's not the winner, and here's reaction times. But if you really understand how the timing systems work, they're so involved. They take a lot of maintenance. There's and they're you're going to racetrack hoping that the racetrack keeps up with the maintenance of the systems, and more power to them. Our sport is so much better thanks to Bob and Jeff.
Absolutely. Well, and the pressure of the moment, like a critical call that has to be made. Like, it's great. You don't think about it until you're in the middle of like a crisis, and someone's got to fix this and make the call, and it's not going to be me. I don't know who's going to be. Right there goes Scoop down there. Foster back in the day. Now he gets to be the king of Las Vegas, which is a pretty good gig if you can get it. McBride wants to know, ask him about Dom's socks, says Larry McBride.
When we were in Gainesville, Dom was let's see, he was up in the hotel room, and he said something to me. Dom was like, I forgot my socks. And I'm like, what? Oh, the laundry got lost. That's what it was. And Dom says, I got everything but my socks. They lost all of my socks. And I'm like, damn it, what? So I went downstairs, and I was like, I can't. Just talking to the lady who does at the hotel does laundry. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, sucker, he got me. So and that's why I told Larry about it. But because it was just a couple of minutes after that happened that Larry came, and Dom was like, I really, truly was, oh man, I can't believe Dom lost his socks, and he got me.
Good job, Dominic.
I'm pretty gullible. That's true.
Well, you're a good guy. You're a good guy. Now, the Eddie and the Don cardboard cutouts that were there, Dominic sent me some photographs, and I can't certify this, but I think it is true. The photo shoot where Garlitz was in the whole Kendall white and everything, right? And I have photographs. They're not accessible to me. I'll just have to take a picture and show you this weekend. But one year coming back from the Gator Nationals, we decide to stop by Garlitz Museum, and we pull into the parking lot, and the photo shoot is happening. You may recall the Kendall Motor Oil commercial that Garlitz is in. He and Pat, and they're holding up the trophy and everything. We watched them shoot that, and I think that's where they took the photograph of that cardboard cutout as well.
That's awesome.
I always saw the cutout, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have that picture from being there.
Those cardboard cutouts, that they also, which I have not to change the subject, I just was thinking, because I'm looking at the Big Daddy picture in the office here that's signed by him that Mama K bought for Hoagie at one of the auctions. But that shows what kind of team, we got, and how fortunate we are to race with Mama K and Billy. And, look at that moment. That weekend was irreplaceable. And that was all, obviously because of Hoagie's relationship and Hoagie's want to do something like that as well. But it's also, Mama K and Billy and Steve, their love for drag racing. And like those moments are not easy for us to make happen. And, even like how many other people can bring a cardboard cutout of Eddie and Don to Winter Circle and the owners be okay with it. But Mama K and Billy and Steve, they love drag racing so much that, they in the back of they understand the influence, the contribution that Torrance Racing has had to this is having to on the sport. And for years to come, they'll just always, it'll be hard to not smile when you think about, Mama Kay at the track and Billy and Steve and his moments, and, now Natalie and Charlie, and it's just an awesome family. It's awesome. We're very fortunate here.
Absolutely. No, they love drag racing, and they're putting not only their money, but their effort, their time, and their family time in it. Mama Kay, of course.
Yeah, their emotion. Mama Kay sends Bible verses to, I don't even know the number of people every day. She sends them to everybody on our team. And, maybe you don't read them every day, but I guarantee you at some point in everybody's lives, they open up her message to help them get through that day because of, and you don't even know for sure what somebody's going through. And she does it for everybody in this. There's so many people in the sport that she does that for. And I hear over and over, man, I was having a tough day, but Mama Kay made me feel better, without even knowing it, and that's just her passion for, for God and for faith and for keeping everybody positive is just, we're just so blessed here, and it's almost like it was just a meant to be story that we're all still racing together and have done what we have. There
you go. Earl Nichols says, my ground shaker buddy pinballer.
Yep. Yeah. Earl's got the ground shaker pinball machine. So we were trading back high scores. We got ours here at the shop, and we got ours from Cavalieri, and
the one from Goodfellas at the end where
the nitro ground shaker nitro funny car machine with her. Yeah. It's pretty wild. Yeah, we had two of them. So one of them went to Fred Spell down in Texas. He helped out Aaron Brooks a bunch, and Aaron gave him that pinball machine, and so ours is sitting, our main one's sitting here at the shop, and every once in a while we'll go in there and see who can get a high score.
That's awesome. Yeah, well, it's I mentioned Goodfellas, the scene at the end of Good. She's walking down that alley, and there's ground shaker nitro funny car pinball machine. It's like, wow, that's a big drag racing mention in a big movie. All right, Derek's got a real question, which we're taking those two. Hey, Bobby, when tuning a nitro machine, what's the toughest thing to predict, tune, compression, clutch setup, blower overdrive, etc.? Get technical, Bobby.
A lot of the hardest thing is reading of the racetrack and how you want to, you have a handle on a clutch application for all different types of ETs, is what I'll call it, and the hardest thing is what you think the racetrack will hold. And everybody's come up with all these contraptions, track torque checkers, torque rotators, let me use the same shoe for every race. There's just so many different things that guys have tried to come up with. And in the end, it's your instinct, and Hoagie has a routine for before every run that he wants to do on the racetrack. And that's the most important thing for him. And, because it's the biggest variable, the weather changes, and you have, you can change that, but not knowing exactly the traction from the starting line to the finish line, really, what's the real traction? That's the hardest thing to tune for.
Interesting. No, good question. All right. So Scuba Steve is saying something that I got, the answer. I don't know the answer. He says he's out, but love you, Charles. 140, 141, 142, the Lagana factor. See you at 131. What are these numbers?
140 is our dad's nitro license number. 141 was my nitro license number. 142 is Dom's license number. And 131 is US 131 Motorsports Park. And we're going to be doing a match race there with the Nitro Ninja on August 7th. So we'll make a test lap Friday night with a guest driver, and then we'll make a match race with another driver. And we're still working on those details. But that's going to be another full circle moment for Dom to be a part of his own car, being able to go down the track. And, we have a lot of support on that. And, it's hard work, but everything we do is hard work. So, I think the amount of smiles and cheers that'll bring to a lot of people is going to be worth it.
That's where I really got to know Dominic at first, because I was up there shooting a show, and I walked over after my shoot was over, and Bob Z was there, and he recognized me, and he said, "Hey, come in here." And I got to hang out with Jake and everybody, and Dominic was like, "Yeah, man, hang with us." And so, all right, I'm all right. I'm on the team now. And that was my US 131 experience. And it was great. And that was when he went to 450, 459 to 1320, 452.
So it wasn't the record run. It was just his first 450 maybe, or
yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
That's great stuff. All right, Richard Glenn wants to know whose burgers are better, Austin's or Steve's? Oh, he froze up. Which is better?
Steve's actually a really good cook. He loves to cook. When we go down to Texas, he'll cook for us once in a while, but he's always a part of what we're doing in the pits and have his input on certain things. But Austin brought over some chicken tenders one time that he made that had some Krispy Kreme donuts on the outside that were pretty spectacular. So, yeah.
Okay.
Austin went to school to be a chef is what, how this all started, I guess. So
there you go. We got so many talented people in drag racing. Hey, David Knapp is out there saying congratulations. Hey, Bobby and Joe from the Knapp family. Thank you.
Yeah, we spent a lot of years with them. Gosh, a lot of who we are was built on what happened at Epping, New England Dragway, and Englishtown. So that's for sure.
Okay, Tony, as a fan, I disagree. I don't want to see Q1 versus Q2 in the final. I want to see someone coming from the 10th spot for the win. Whoever earns it on given day. That's there's plenty of times where from the bottom of the field someone can come up. I don't know. I just want to see the best matchup I can see.
I want to see side by side. That when you have those runs like we had in the second round and the final, where the race is less than 10 feet, so to speak, at 320 plus miles an hour. That's pretty impressive, and that's what to me that's the show, is making it to the finish line. And when both cars can make it to the finish line to the best of their ability, that's what drag racing was built on, and that's what we need more of.
Jalen is out there. Jalen, who's got his alcohol funny car license now. Hey, Joe and Bobby. Bobby, I love your energy and the energy your team brings. You guys teach us to spread love to each other each day. When we get a chance, we wake up. Thank you for being so positive energy. We all need it. Met you once at Maple Grove. Hope to talk to you again one day. And Jalen, who I see out there at the races from time to time, this guy is he's on a mission of some sort because he's driven an alcohol funny car already.
Be on the mission and don't give up. And, if someone really understood where we've come from, you would say that truly never give up, because to be where we are right now is so humbling, and I never thought it was going to happen. I don't want to say we never made goals for ourselves, but we never truly said, here's where we want to be in our lives, because we were always concerned that maybe you actually wouldn't get there, and you don't want to be disappointed, because we were happy no matter what. But we never gave up, and, to see guys like Jalen get his license and move forward, and to see, I know, you were talking about Krista, and to see Austin, and, to see Alex driving Scott's car this weekend, and, people are creating opportunities for themselves. They're putting themselves in positions where they work hard, and that creates an opportunity. And, that's the most important thing in this sport, is to work hard and, be respectful, and you just never know what the next door is going to open, or what's going to be the next thing that happens for you that's in your favor, so just got to never give up, and, just stay positive.
There you go. Michael Heiner out there saying congratulations on the win. Also like the joke Dom got you with the socks. Excellent. Heiner is a pro stock guy who keeps his eye on Top Fuel. Let's talk a little bit about Krista and the conversation of the earlier show today. And those of you listening in the podcast archive, just go back to the Alan Reinhardt, Alex Laughlin show. At the end of the show, we had kind of some wide ranging conversation about like young drivers. We don't have a driver's problem. We've got a not enough great opportunities for all the drivers problem. You're trying to fix as many of those as you can. You've helped out a lot of people in the pit area. Palmer, who is giving Alex the opportunity. He has credited you guys for making his car a clone of the Capco cars as best as is possible. And Krista says that you guys took her car for her licensing. And we remember the video. You had Dominic on the stream and everything. When she got licensed, that 392 she ran, I'm feeling pretty good. Obviously, what happened with the reverser in Norwalk wasn't great, but that's drag racing.
Yeah.
You guys are working hard to help people gain their opportunity, make the most of their opportunity. So you've had hands on that car. What's possible with Krista?
So we built that car ground up. We completely stripped it, and Dom worked his butt off on that car. That was previous to his accident, and it was 80% done before his accident. And after Dom's accident, we loved the Greek, and we've been racing with him for 25 years. we've spent time at his house, and we're very friendly with him, and we needed to finish that car because we started it, and there was nobody else that could finish what we started there. So we brought it here to the Capco shop, and with the blessings of Mama Kay and Billy and Steve and Hoagie, we finished the car and helped Krista get her license that day. And now they have a car that goes up and down the racetrack. The most important thing is going to be to maintain it properly. And, you have to look at that car. They need to look at that car like a business and, put certain investments into it, and you'll be rewarded, and just be careful because, this is what we try to preach to these guys that we help is one wrong move will set you back so far you maybe can't recover from it. And, these cars are so violent and they're so unpredictable, and you just have to just stay steady. And, that car is awesome. It'll go down the racetrack every run and be, a tick off of the best cars on the property. So on any day, if you make a mistake, that car will definitely bite you, and that's what we need out there is cars that go to the finish line. We don't, that's why we want to see cars make it to the end. We want to see cars not damage their parts. That's how you build up your financial inventory, your money, and your parts inventory, to not damage what you have so you can sell it or you can have more of it. That's what we try to help everybody with, is to maybe just the few things that they're not understanding or need help on so that they don't damage their parts. And these cars make so much power. If you could just make the motor run clean, you'd be surprised how quick they actually do run, So.
Yeah. JP Gutierrez out there saying, what's up? Great job, guys. Ostrander and us are super proud of you guys. He's always talking about you and how great you and Dom have done. Keep it up. Great time we had back in the old IHRA days.
Yep. We raced with Jack forever. Every once in a while, he'll make a call. He's in his 80s now, but he was always a hardcore old school racer, and he always gave his all, stayed at the track, just put everything he had into it. And, and then that's what I think you're starting to see a little bit of that now with, cars like the Greeks car. And, you just see, Terry Totten's been putting out a car that guys have been licensing in and running, and it's clean. It goes down the racetrack, and puts on runs. And, you just that's what we need, and we need to support these guys to keep the quality car count up. That's the most important thing.
So let me, you've been so gracious with your time. I told Bobby 20 minutes, guys. He's been on for 50 minutes. If you got to run, you tell me. We're wrapping up right here. But okay, the passion and the emotion and all of these things. And I think people trust what you have to say. And you might not have an answer to this question, but we're all kind of, all right, we're coming out of the pandemic. Maybe not everybody is ready to go racing just yet, but there's a lot of cars out there that don't come to the track every week, right? Or enough. We want them to come more. And it's about the calculation, right? Like cost to get there. How much is it going to cost to be there? How much can I make being there? How much sponsorship do I have? That whole formula, the discussion is that formula off? How do we change that formula to make it just a little more accessible, a little easier on some of the other folks out there? Let me give a note, because after Billy's win out there in New England, I was speaking with him and Jake said, when you win races, you run exponentially more times down the racetrack. And so it costs exponentially more to just go there when you're successful. It's a really challenging problem. Everybody says, oh, we got to make it cheaper. We got to make it cheaper. That's the secret. But I don't know. I don't want to make them slower. So what do you have to think about this somewhat? What do you think?
Number one, you can't make it cheaper. You're not going to, material costs go up every year. And, the cars, the performances are close year in and year out. And to say you're going to slow them down right now, the way the cars are built, if they're put together properly, they'll run way more runs on the parts, which is actually cheaper than how it was years ago. The technology on these cars is that it wants to, the blocks are better now. They allow the cranks to live longer. So try to slow the cars down is not going to, it's the wrong path. The way to fix this is, and I'm vocal with NHRA on what I think they need to do to help, because I want to see them succeed. We need them to succeed. And I respect all the guys that work there, but I think what got lost on for a lot of these years is the racers need help. There's not as many Don Schumachers that are able to self-sustain and find this funding on their own. You'd be surprised how much you have to come up with. And I say that how much you don't really, it's not as big a number as you think to get some of these cars out here. And these cars are so exciting. They're mind blowing. It's something you'll never forget when you watch them go down the racetrack. And I can't wait I don't know that Marcus has actually showed up at a race yet, but when he does, it's something he's never going to forget when a top fuel car goes down. And we need guys like him. And you'll be surprised how many cars you can get at the track for, just a little bit of help. And we just need to spread that word to a bunch of, it's worth the value for certain companies to say, here's $10,000, here's $20,000 to help certain amount of cars. And if we can just spread that money out there's a lot of cars out there. Terry McMillan needs a little bit of money. We built a car for Trip Tatum. He's ready to race and he's going to race some, but guys like him, they just need a little bit of help to go to more races. Scott has a very competitive operation that's clean and goes up and down the racetrack. And, he just needs a little bit of help like he's getting this weekend from Alex, and he's going to race. And I just think it's lost in how much money you think you need to come up with for these cars to show up. It's not as much as you think, and you will get more cars if it's just a little bit of money. They just need a little bit of help. But I'm not looking for this as a charity. I don't want people to say, oh, here's a proposal, give me $10,000, I'll just put a sticker on your car. I really believe that there's a lot of people in this country that if they're just introduced to it the right way, their money, they will feel value in that 10,000, that 20,000 to get these cars out here. And we just need, it's almost like we need a group. You need somebody in charge to just kind of spearhead that and help. Just here's this little deal for this weekend. Here's that deal for that weekend, and make it work. Because we have to have cars. We have to have. Yes. We can't have cars, and we can't have cars coming to just stage. That's not going to fix the problem. That makes it worse. You got to have a car that's trying to be competitive. You can't be a statistic. You can't just be number 15 or 16. You have to be a car that runs a 410 full run like the Leverage guys do. They try to go down the track, and it's not the quickest, but it's really quick to them. That's a 410 is still a 475 quarter mile run. That's a fast run. So, you can't get lost, and you just need cars that want to get better and want to show up. And I'm telling you, you just be surprised. It's not as much as you think to get these cars to show up.
Well, and not that I'm against going to space for 4 minutes, but if that's going to cost $250,000, and yes, totally unique, amazing experience for those that can do it. For $250,000, you can invigorate and be a part of a race team that's going out there and competing and trying to win. And not that you can get a whole lot done for $250,000, but in the right situation, you can.
I mean, Krista's car won first round at Charlotte. They ran 385 at 319 miles an hour, and they won that round. And for all the people, ourselves included, who helped make that happen, the excitement that was, if you had to put a financial value on that excitement, it was as exciting as winning the race that day. We won the race. And watching that car run, because it reminded me of the Twilight Zone. It reminded me of the Nitro Ninja when we were fortunate enough to get a first round win as an underfunded team. The excitement from that is it's a lot more than $10,000 or $20,000, and there's ways that we can definitely get this car count up and make the show better so that the fans are happy coming in groves, and we bring back all of these sponsors. So I feel confident. I know right now is a tough time, but we just got to all stick together and just keep marching forward, and and just promote the sport that we love. Just like you're doing. Your WFO reaches a lot of people, and you just never know who's maybe watched it today that's going to want to help somebody. You just never know.
You don't. You never know. Bobby, this has been fantastic. Blake is out there. Blake wants to know if there's a chance of you driving a top fuel car again.
That was Dom. Dom's dream was that I was going to drive at the match race, but I've made probably 500 to 700 laps in my life, and I've gone 324 and a quarter, 310 and 1,000 foot. But I was scared every run I ever made. I'll be honest with you. That's the truth. I'm not lying about that. I had a crash. I got hurt real bad early, and Steve shows us some of his in-car videos, and he's insane. I tell him that all the time. I think he's I don't want to say confident, as as calm as he is getting in the car to drive it. Now, he's fired up about the race. He's not fired up about driving a car. To him, it's just an everyday drive to the supermarket. And I think he's crazy. You know, that car is watching his videos. He's got a 331 mile an hour run. It's just crazy. I love watching him go, but I'm nervous. If I got in that car, I would be so scared. I can't even explain it to you. I'm telling you.
I love hearing that, though, because I think sometimes maybe you see him go down the track enough and you get desensitized to exactly what's happening there.
I never do. Trust me. I want to watch the parachutes come out for their driver's safety. I want to not see anything bad happen. And I'm telling you, I am deathly afraid watching these cars go down the track. But, you know, it's a controlled afraid. But as far as getting in it, I don't know that the enjoyment. I'd rather watch somebody else. We'll make something else happen. I just don't know. It might be happy for somebody else, but I don't know.
I got it. Well, listen, I'm excited about US 131. When that news comes out, what you're going to do, let us know and we'll put it out there. Okay. So this has been so great and so positive and wonderful, heartfelt energy. I wish you great luck. Obviously, this weekend, you guys are defending race winners back to 2019. Anything you want to tell us about Bandimere before I bring down the show and crash us?
Bandimere's like the Baders and Jeff Foster, and certain racetracks really, really, really care for their facilities, and it's so much more enjoyable. It's we love going to Bandimere's. They put their heart and soul into that place, and there's going to be a huge crowd Friday. There's going to be a huge crowd Saturday, and there'll be a huge crowd Sunday there. And we definitely don't mind running at night there because the crowd is there to back up us running late like that. So I'm excited. I love that. The area is beautiful and the track is just so well maintained. It's such a beautiful facility. You can appreciate that. It's just like a race team waxing their rig and making sure their pit area is as best as it can be. That's what we respect that all the time too. It doesn't take much to just spruce up what you got. And Bandimere's, nothing but respect for them. So can't wait to go up there and see everybody.
Western Swing, baby. It's going to be awesome. We get to go on a swing. We're going to Sonoma. We're going to Pomona, nighttime qualifying. It's going to be great. All right, let's get negative. New York Yankees.
Yep.
What the heck?
2 games, beat the Astros. We were riding so high after Garrett Cole's 9-inning shutout. And then to have happen to lose on that 9th inning like that, we're armchair crew chiefs when it comes to maybe managing the Yankees and certain decisions that get made. I don't know. I think they need a little bit of our energy. They need a little bit of our passion for our sport back in there. Somebody just needs to, grab some of those guys and say, hey, man, just get back to the basics. What matters? What are you doing this for? I loved seeing Aaron Judge kind of make fun of Altuve with the shirt thing. And even though it wasn't, but they got it paid back to them the next night. And
immediately,
just like you were saying with Steve and Brittany, that I was definitely disappointed, but I appreciated that moment of what Altuve did. that was a baseball moment that made people that's a moment it stuck because we were on the losing end, but it was a pretty spectacular moment, so.
Well,
it was wild.
It is, but we got to fit that. This is great and all.
We got to fix it. Yeah, we got to fix it. We got too much talent. We got too much money invested into future talent. It's time to turn it around. They need I don't know. They need a kid in the pit. They need a kid where it's innocent energy and positive. That's what they need. It's just sometimes in those big sports, your lifestyles and your, what you have in your life sometimes outweigh, the reason why you started to do it. And I see some of that in some of those players there. So they need a reason to go back to their college days, their dorm days, and look at the resource that they have and pull that together. And they, like Garrett Cole that night when he told them, get out of here, leave me in here. They need that. They need that kind of fired up, Who cares about how much money you're making? Who cares about what you got? Who cares about what you did? Why are you doing this? And if they'll be successful if they think that way.
Well, he said, Garrett Cole said, all I remember is saying the F word a lot, and then I blacked out. But he went out and he
did 3 strikes. Got him.
That is what we need.
Boone was about to pull him. He was going to pull him. He can say what he wants. He was going to pull him. That's wrong.
Why did he even go out there? Like, to me,
you're going to disrupt him, right? He's on a roll. Don't disrupt him.
Don't disrupt him. Don't give him any doubt. Don't even know. You're the guy. You're
should have disrupted Chad Green the next night. Said, this is going bad. So, but anyway, that's armchair managing again, So.
It is. But see, Mikey is out there and he says Boone needs to go. And he brought it up. It's been discussed, Mikey. See, I think everything that you just said right there, and coming from you who does that job, you're doing that job on the Capco team. You might not even realize it, but that's you and Dominic, and like everybody feeds off of that positive energy of pure, goodness and right of reason, right? Like that's what the manager is supposed to do on a team like that, especially the New York Yankees. Keep everybody like focused and going in the right direction. You remember 2017, they had that thing going on. They had these little things, little games, little things that kept them motivated, needed fun. We got nothing like that right now. It doesn't seem like they're having fun. Everybody's feeling the pressure. It's like, it shouldn't be like that if you're going to be successful. And I don't know, maybe this all-star break, maybe they can get their thing together, but maybe not,
Yeah. Hey, it starts off with the Red Sox, right? They play a bunch.
They do. They do. Well, right after the All-Star break, we got a series against them. We got to sweep them and turn it around. And if it doesn't work out this year, we'll always have our 27 World Series to keep us warm till next year.
Yep. Yes, we will.
Daryl Gwynn out there saying what's up, says you guys got a great family. And DG, exactly. Bobby, this was great. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Like, we kept you for an hour. I apologize, but
that's all right. I appreciate it. And I me, and not a big shout out, but that's not really a shout out. I just got to say, a lot of our behind the scenes that happens here are from our families at home and all the crew guys here, on the road, and their families support them, and, their wives and kids and parents. And, whether they're listening or not, maybe they are, but I really appreciate them for their support, and especially Kim at home. I know I definitely don't see her as much as I should, but I'm fortunate enough to have someone in my life that cares greatly and supports me in everything that I do. So for everybody out there that has that, God bless, and just march forward.
There it is. Bobby, I'll see you in a couple of days. Good luck this weekend. Thank you so much. Say hi to Gary, who has got his own good stuff going on as well as you guys drive out there. Really appreciate you, and go Yankees.
Thanks, Joe.
Later. There he goes. Bobby Lagana Jr. with us here on WFO Radio. And what a day it has been. Subscribe, click the bell on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Feel like writing us a review. That would be very helpful to us. Now, honestly, I am as excited as you guys are. I know that you all loved that. And that's why, Bobby is so good for the sport, and Dominic and that whole team. And we have been witnessing history with the Capco team because of the chemistry they've created. The parts, great stuff. Richard Hogan, spawn of Garlits off the Garlits tree. He definitely has a way of going about the methodology. But I believe, back to the baseball deal, that there's magic in everything. There's magic in everything. And the people that are able to achieve success, like sometimes it's the magic that wins it, especially when everybody else has got good stuff. And, going back to different events, race wins, World Series, it's the littlest thing that makes a difference. The ball that rolls through, that tips off a glove, that starts a rally, that wins the game. And those guys have got it. Bobby and the Capco team, they have got it. The music is on loud. They're having a great time. The celebrations are endless. The train horn and Billy and Mama Kay and two teams, but one team. It's really an amazing thing. And I appreciate Bobby, and I appreciate Steve for suggesting Bobby as a pinch hitter for this one. Not that Steve ever gets boring, but it's great to get another perspective on a race win like that. All right, so put your comments in the comment section. Like, what do you think about what you just witnessed? And how are you going to share this show? Even though we're over an hour into it, you can definitely share it out there on your social so more and more people can see WFO Radio. Because if there's any problem, like if Marcus Lemonis is actually going to see this show, someone's going to have to share it to him, right? That's what we are doing, and how passionate we are about the sport that we love. And we're going to be doing it for 3 weekends in a row, beginning this Friday at Bandimere Speedway. So first and foremost, before I mention my sponsors, let me just use a little of their time to tell anybody that's going to be in the anywhere Denver, Colorado area, like, yes, set your DVRs, but come out to the race. You haven't seen us in a couple of years. It's an outdoor event. Come on out. Let's burn some nitro. Friday night, Saturday, Sunday. I know everybody is super stoked about the racing facility just to be able to do it again. And if you are in Northern California, Sonoma a week later. And then Pomona. We're heading back to Pomona. That's right. We're going to be there for the first time in a long time since, February of 2020? The first time we'll be at Pomona? Like, that's epic. So come on out. The Western Swing. If finances are an issue, get the cheapest possible ticket and get in the gate. Like, it'll be worth it. I think it'll be worth it. Then again, I love drag racing, and Bobby Lagana right there got me sold. I'm fired up. I'm sold, man. I want to do more shows. Total Seal Piston Rings, the leader in ring seal technology, totalseal.com. All kinds of good stuff in the podcast feed. Speaking of podcasts, you should be downloading and subscribing to and writing a review. Hidden Horsepower, but also the fact that Total Seal builds engine parts for whether it be stock eliminator all the way up to Formula One. Total Seal has got cutting edge ring technology. Check them out. Also, Marvin Rodak and RodaksCoffeeandGrills.com, the hot sauces and the spice rubs. Love to see Marvin out there on the other side of the computer. And if you want gourmet coffee roasted fresh per your order, I just finished my bag of the 2021 Epic Nitro Madness blend. And it was a little sad. Like, I get to the end of the bag and it's like, what do I do with this bag? This is a bag of Marvin Rodaks. Am I going to throw this bag away? And the answer is no. I'm going to keep it for something in the future. Kifa. Marvin, thank you. 817-924-6821. And all you listeners out there, if you haven't tried the Rodaks yet, it's not the cheapest. Don't expect that, but it is the best. Samtech.edu, the School of Automotive Machinists and Technology. Start your education at full speed. Blockhead CNC programs, motorsport, EFI, tuning. They start off the next generation of crew members and crew chiefs and people programming CNC. They are approved to train veterans under the GI Bill. And maybe you don't even like racing, but you want to get a job at Boeing or SpaceX. This is a great place to start. And they've got connections throughout the industry. So give Brian Massengill a call. Like, demand Brian Massengill. Get him on the phone. Tell him you're a WFO radio listener and you want to come to the school, and then let me know all about it. And then, of course, Frank Hawley's drag racing school. The Dragster Adventure, $399. Come on now. $399. Go do the day trip. Do the Dragster Adventure. 1 half track, 2 full track passes, and you will love it. Also, shout out to Nitro Fish. If you're going out to the race this weekend, be sure to swing by the Nitro Fish trailer and see Tamara and get a WFO t-shirt. Like, get a WFO radio t-shirt right there, and you'll have the great experience. And then, of course, our own WFO store at WFOradio.com. If you want to join our VIP listener club, the Patreons, patreon.com/WFO radio. People legitimately from all around the world. We've got folks from Australia and the UK, like UKEV, who sent us this great photograph. It's actually ripped from a video in our Facebook group. Yeah, we got groups and pages and just all kinds of stuff. WFOradio.com, etc., and so on. All right, let's see what everybody has got to say about the whole Alex Laughlin earlier today. Great stuff. Brett Kepner last week. Matt Smith. All kinds of good stuff in the archive. Let's see what everyone's got to say. Blake, I wish I could, but we still haven't moved to Wyoming yet. Won't be there until next Friday. I didn't know you were moving, Blake. But hey, that was cool that you did. Yeah, it's moving a little further from Norwalk. Maddie. What's up, Maddie? Capco. Where's my Maddie sticker? Maddie told me to promote her YouTube channel whenever I get a chance. Did you know Maddie has a YouTube channel? And she's friends with a lot of the racers out there. Go check it out. I was on Maddie's show. I've been on a lot of shows lately. Was on the Racing News Network with Jerron earlier last night. When was it? Monday night. Go check that out. It was a nice call. Talked a lot about different stuff. And I was on the spot with Dave And that's all on the Facebook. Go check it out. I'm definitely a totally different person when I'm not the host. I'm much more of a troublemaker. Let's see. Barakello, awesome double up show today. Joe, absolutely one of the best. Thank you very much. You know what's amazing is that people have said some version of that. One of the best. A lot over the past few weeks. And the video component, now that we've got race winners and we're in the season, we did 10 years of audio only podcast. And that is mandatory for people out there who are driving over the road, the podcast listener, they're working, they're in a shop, they're doing something, they got their earbud in. It can't all be video for everybody, but, respect to our podcast roots. But seeing some of the cool stuff that we've seen on the live stream over the past 6 to 8 months since mid-pandemic last year has been pretty amazing. And we're still like growing like gangbusters. And so every time you guys share the show, copy the link. Send it to your friend, like an email. Hey, drag racing friend, I think you'll like this show. Because we are the mom and pop store of this whole deal, going up against the big corporations out there. Like, think about it. Just the size of our Facebook page. We got like 8,000 likes on our Facebook page. Every single one of them got organically. People are buying followers out there. We never do that. We'd rather have the intense support of a smaller number than people we don't know who they are. And it's been going great, but invite your friends to like the page. Get them in on this. I think they'll like it. I think it's been pretty good. Let's see. Jeff, absolutely outstanding people on that Capco team. Absolutely. And that's why the people who misunderstand Steve, like I put a lot of effort into, like, guys, you're misunderstanding Steve. You can't judge him from what you think you know. And obviously, would these guys all be wanting to be around somebody like that? I think that is... birds of a feather. Let's see. Joe, trophies. Great interviews today. Probably 2 of the best interviews all year. They keep getting better and better. Thank you, Jay. Thank you for being a Patreon and supporting us behind the scenes. Mike, glad you both kind of agree on the Boone thing. Oh, Mikey, come on. I'm holding back. I'm a Joe Torre guy, but then I got into Girardi. Girardi, like, he's got an engineering degree. He's very analytical, and who needs the analytics when you got Girardi? They fire the guy after going all the way to the ALCS, and they ruin the chemistry and they ruin the team. In my alternate universe, they won the World Series the next year in 2018 because they didn't fire Girardi. Like, that was a dumb move, and I fight it out with my friends about it all the time. Well, no, you don't take great chemistry and crush it. And that's what they did. So yeah, Mike, good job bringing that up. But I also haven't given up on this year yet. It's possible that the team comes out on fire and gets their act together and they go on and win the World Series. That's not impossible. This is the New York Yankees after all. So I don't want to start talking about firing Boone because that means you've quit. I haven't quit. It's not over yet. We got half a season to go. It ain't over until it's over. And we got a lot of baseball to play. So go Yanks. Very nice show. Thank you very much, Blake. Monica says, the Laganas have such a positive and kind energy. Great to hear from Bobby. Great interview. Thank you very much. When our team goes to Top Golf, we hit the track with some great energy. I enjoy Top Golf also. Did you guys see the video of the kid who hit the ball and it got struck by lightning? He launches the ball and lightning bolt hits it. Monica, I didn't know you were a New York Yankee fan. Me and Monica, we got a lot going on. We both love WFO, but that's different. And we love the Yankees and Godzilla. What a strange and bizarre potpourri of likes. The Yankees, Godzilla, and drag racing. Not too many people out there that can say that. Mikey, you're correct. Yeah, don't give up, man. It's not over yet. I'll let you know when it's over. We'll know. But this team, they need to show some spirit, some spark. And all you people who don't like the New York Yankees, you should be relishing in this opportunity to see a little Yankee crying tale. How about them Capco boys, says Top Fuel 173. Greg says, great show, Joe. The Laganas are the best. Yeah, Dominic, it's just, I'm super happy. Super happy about, don't sweat the small stuff, guys. That's why I can't. I was great on Racer News Network. Thank you very much. I wish I did not have to go as early as I did because it sounded like they went on for a little bit longer and had a good time. And there you go. All right, everybody, that's it. What I will say this is don't sweat the small stuff, as in right now in our world, there's a lot of emphasis on negativity and annoyance and what's bothering me and what's aggravating me and what's bad and all of that. That's constant. And that's never going away, guys. You got to realize it. Like, oh, I wish, can't wait for the day that all the negative stuff goes away and people stop like pushing negative stuff. That's never going to happen. What's going to happen is when people who are positive-minded people like Bobby and others, I consider myself mostly, every once in a while I'll get down, but mostly positive and optimistic. You got to just realize that you have a choice. You have to choose. You can get bogged down in the negative, and there is, or maybe it's perspective. And you have to choose. You have to choose it. And so that's why I say, don't sweat the small stuff when you think about, Dominic and what he went through and Bobby and what he went through with his brother and all that. And they're living their dream now, loving drag racing, having a good time. So a flat tire on the side of the road or something not going is like, you think that's bothering anybody? No. You got to choose. You got to choose to be positive, to accentuate the positive, to think about the positive and appreciate the amazing stuff that you've got in your life. You got to appreciate it. Yeah, you're going to get down. You're going to get bummed out. But just try not to let it hang on for too long. That's my advice. And that's one of the reasons why these guys, Bobby and Dominic, like I appreciate them so much because that's their attitude too. Monica, Yankee stuff everywhere here. Yeah, I got a fair amount. The 1998 team, the greatest team in the history of baseball. We ride with them on WFO, though. Hopefully, don't turn off too many listeners. Art, these interviews are so uplifting. If you're feeling down, tune into your show, Joe. Thank you, Clay Milliken. Got a channel. It's almost the same thing, 100% positive. We're going to kick some butt. Thank you, Art. Yeah, love Clay. Love Clay. And when Clay gets on here, it's like explosion of positivity. Great show, man. But that's not to deny that there's negativity in the world. There is. You got to fight through it. You got to just try to fight through it. I would be lying if I said there were times I didn't get a little, down or depressed, right? It happens. But take stock as anyway. You get what we're saying. Stubo. That's right, Joe. Rise above it all. Stay positive. Thank you very much. Sue Morris of Dave and Sue Morris is like a Patreon co-host of our Ignition show. You want to hear Sue? Listen to Ignition. Thank you, Sue, for your support. Life can throw you a curve. Yeah, don't you know it, Jeff? All of us. Like, as bad as it is today, tomorrow it could be a whole lot worse. So you could choose to go through the day being upset about what's bad or appreciating what's good. And ultimately, that's your call, man. It's your call. 1998 Yankees, greatest of all time ever, period. Mike, we have had some things that we don't agree upon on this show, but we agree on the important stuff. All right, thanks to Alex Laughlin and Alan Reinhardt and Scott Palmer and Bobby Lagana and everybody who made today's show so great. But tomorrow, we're going to try to do more. Alexis DeJoria at 1 o'clock. We'll have Alexis on with Andy Carter from Texas Motorplex talking about the Stampede of Speed. We'll see you then, WFO.